Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Murilo. I'm representative here at 360 Dialogue, and I'm so excited to be starting this webinar with all of you. We have had a record number of people joining this webinar, 360 Dialogue, just because of the size and the impact, right, that all of these changes from Meta are going to be having in the whole WhatsApp market. And of course, 360 Dialogue is always here to help and guide our whole partner and client base throughout these changes, but not only help them through them, but also help them thrive, yeah, in this whole new ecosystem that is going to be growing through new agentic and seeing Meta step into this case. So we will be starting in just a couple of minutes. We'll be waiting for some people to start joining as well already. I just wanted to say and explain a little bit about how this webinar is going to work out. So there is going to be space for questions and Q&A at the end. Feel free to write your questions down in the Q&A button that you might be seeing in your screen along the trajectory of the webinar. And we will be taking most of them, hopefully most of them at the end of the webinar. But as we usually do, all of the ones that we cannot get to will be answered in a follow-up email to all of the participants here. Yeah. Also, this this webinar will be recorded and will be shared as well after the meeting. So if you want to share it with other people, with other colleagues, you will have this option too. Perfect. Um, All right, so let's wait another minute and we will start at minute three with a presentation. Thank you very much. All right, I would say we start because we already have so many people here in our webinar. So without further ado, Garrett, please take over. Thank you so much for being here and let's get this started.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, the ones that do not know me, I'm Garrett, founder of 360 Dialog. I just wanted to quickly kick off this webinar because I have so many conversations, whether it's one-to-ones with clients, partners. I joined a couple of forums, and so I really feel, yeah, the emotions and yeah, also to a certain extent, the anxiety and maybe a little bit of frustration about another big change by Meta. So yeah, it was really important to me, together with the team and also with Meta, to organize this webinar to shed a bit more light, yeah, what's coming. And obviously, I'm well aware that these changes, whether it's from a cost side perspective, from a software development perspective, will have implications. And most likely implications also to certain vendors in the market, how they structure their commercial models, how they've built a product, maybe even so far going that repositioning should be considered. But I think it's really important to also look at the opportunity side of things. And so this is also very important for 360 Dialog, to really approach this with an opportunity lens and yeah, trying to help everyone who's interested in making these changes an opportunity. And so therefore, I think it's really important to also get you close to Meta, to Meta's narrative and vision around the MBA and so Meta Business Agent. Sorry for the acronym. And that's why I'm very, very excited and thankful that Muhannad took the time to join us today to share a little bit more on Meta's view around the Meta Business Agent. Muhannad, over to you.
Thank you, Garrett. Really appreciate the opportunity for you opening up the forum here. 360 Dialog and Meta have an excellent partnership on business messaging, where 360 Dialog is one of our leading BSPs globally. And we do see that there is like a force multiplier on the Meta Business Agent partnership coming here into the 360 Dialog ecosystem. So again, really thank you for being open for this partnership and for giving us the stage to like co-present together. So hi everyone, I'm Mohamed Hassan. In case you don't know me, even though I've shared this forum before, I am the strategic partner manager for 360 Dialog, and I head the business messaging partnerships in the MEA region. So if you move to the next slide, please. I wanted to start with like this big figure because this is really the bottom of all the change that is happening right now and why we are really moving very fast towards a shift in how we're addressing opportunity in the market. So business messaging industry is generally $100 billion um, at $100 billion market cap, right? That's been pretty much like the addressable opportunity that we're going after. And now when we bring agentic solution, when we bring AI into the channel, suddenly we are really expanding the addressable market here. And we believe that it's a $3 to $5 trillion opportunity by 2030 that is all available for everybody in this call to go and capture and grab a share out of. So just wanted to take a minute here and make sure that you know when we're talking about change, we're talking about drastic change for sure, because we're really shifting from $100 billion market cap opportunity on paid messaging to $3 to $5 trillion projected value of agentic commerce. If you move to the next slide, please. Now, we believe that Meta is uniquely positioned to lead. We do have a lot of unique elements available on our platform that will help us actually win within the space. And this is basically where we believe that our partners will be sharing us this win as well. So I'll dive into these very quickly. We do have a very advanced solutions when it comes to identity, relationships. There are billions and billions of connections happening on our Graph API. Signals are flowing between businesses and people. We have the leading business messaging platforms globally. Commerce is already happening on our platform. Social commerce in specific is happening at a massive scale. And lastly, we have built the right models to make the right agent work and use all of these elements into a successful agent. If you move to the next slide, please. So the main call to action that I wanted to share with everybody here is we are moving very fast towards a very lucrative opportunity. And our main call to action is we do see short-term value for you jumping into Meta Business Agent platform, start building agentic solution, moving into the agentic economy. And we believe that we need to do this ASAP. If you move to the next slide, please. Now I'm going to start taking you about the Meta Business platform in specific and some of the guiding principles that helped us shape up this platform. So if you move to the next slide, generally speaking, we see that the conversational commerce of basically commerce transactions out of messaging apps is already trending towards a $22 billion of GMV generated and growing at 12% CAGR, which is a very, very decent and healthy growth. Now, all of that have been happening already, not just by humans. It wasn't only humans that were driving these transactions on messaging apps. There was a lot of agents that's been going on, that's been deployed, right? And that's been powering a lot of how this GMV is growing. So that's our first signal into what we need to build agents for. If you move to the next slide, please. Now, when we look at insights of surveys, when we are trying to understand what pressure businesses have, we can see that there are huge expectations from CEOs, from business leaders to deliver revenue, whether you are a partner, whether you are a client. And from our own surveys, it shows that only 30% of CEOs are confident that they're going to be hit their revenue growth goals in the next 12 months. And then there is a 73% gap between AI ambitions and actual deployment that is happening. So that's really what we believe that we can be solving for. We can alleviate those pressure by developing the right solutions and make sure that it can actually shrink the gap. So if you move to the next slide, please. Now, customers are already ready for this behavior. When we do our surveys and see like to what extent customers are leaned in to actually start interacting with businesses using agentic solutions, you can see that the stats are knocking it off the roof. So it's really, a matter of execution that is stopping brands from growing their revenue because the client is ready. The business demand is there. It's really about finding the right execution partner that we can work with. And this is what we hope that we can establish with this ecosystem of partners. If you move to the next slide, please. Now, more demand means more complexity, more conversations overload for businesses to manage. So the demand from clients that is happening is actually not just putting the brands or the businesses in a position where it's nice to have a way for us to respond to clients. It is a constant burden. I keep hearing it from every client call that I join. I am struggling with the call center costs. And there's nothing you can do to stop customers from demanding, like things. It's actually a very good thing to have that customers are reaching out to you. Just a matter of figuring out what would be the right solution for you to address this demand and turn it into ROI for your business, to turn it into your advantage rather than it continuing to be a cost on your infrastructure. If you move to the next slide, please. So we believe that Meta Business Agent does address all of these insights, does address all of these demands, does address all of these challenges with these unique differentiated USPs. One, we do have an unmatched reach across our family of apps. So if you have a Meta Business Agent deployed, you have the opportunity to service 3.5 billion monthly active users on WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram. So there is endless demand that you can generate and drive to that agent. And this is happening natively. You're not switching platforms. So you can imagine the context-aware signal of, like us moving behavioral signals between different platforms and how that will look when it comes to making your agent more intelligent. Native commerce infrastructure. So WhatsApp already provide very rich templates that you can use, display catalog, flows for you to drive certain transactions. All of that you can activate using a Meta Business Agent versus you figuring out other ways to handle that demand. Proactive re-engagement. So think about the agent have had a conversation with the customer. Now you have your typical play, which is triggering a reminder, triggering an abandoned cart nudge, etc. All of that, we already have it in place. It's already successful. Imagine combining that with the power of an agent and to what extent you can trigger more automations. Cross-session memory is super important because it's super frustrating for a client to have to start all over again every time that they are communicating with the business. And the last part is enterprise-ready solution. So we do pride ourselves. The Meta Business platform in general have been launched since 2018. It already is compliant with all data privacy or almost all data privacy policies, enterprise grade guardrails, brand safety controls, etc. So these are like the major USPs that you don't have to worry about when you're thinking about Meta Business Agent. If you move to the next slide, please. So this is important for both clients and partners because this will help you really understand what's the play here, what's the added value that you can do. So first, you can ground the agent in your business knowledge. So teaching the agent about your product, your service, etc., using the right connectors, optimizing the connectors, making sure that it is keeping your agent as much up to date as possible is a key play here to make sure that you are making the agent work better. Set responses guidelines for every scenario, so you will have the capability to set the tone of voice, when to escalate, what topics to cover, and so forth. All of that in the configuration of an agent. Integrate with your systems to enable real-time actions is honestly my favorite because it's so frustrating when you're dealing with a very smart agent, but it cannot actually take the action on your behalf. So this is the level that you can work on with Meta Business Agent. And then the last part is hand off complex issues with full context. So figuring out where to do the handover with a live agent or with the customer service tool is going to be a key play as well. If you move to the next slide, please. So two ways that you can meet your customers where they already are. One, and this is what's available today, is basically onboard on the Meta Business Agent. It's Meta Business Agent itself is a first-party solution, but you can onboard on it through a partner like 360Dialog or hopefully a partner like yourself inherently. And this is available today. Down the line, we're gonna watch out for more announcement as we move more into Q3. We're considering agent-to-agent play where you can pretty much bring on your own agent and then let Meta Business Agent do the orchestration part to figure out when to trigger each automation or when to trigger each and every agent so that we can fulfill the best interest of the end customer interacting with those agents. So this is what's available today. Again, just to wrap, what Meta is bringing on the table is 20 years of intelligence, of us building deep identity relationship for messaging and commerce infrastructure, closed loop continuous optimizations between the ad that you deliver all the way to a transaction that is happening, full life cycle attribution, so fully understanding the uplift that you're driving through that channel across multiple other channels. And then the last part is something that we're hoping that we can bring down the line, which is bringing other agents to work side by side with the Meta Business Agent. So if you move to the next slide, please. I just wanted to visualize this so it shows you like how do we envision an end-to-end journey on Meta Business Agent. So think about an ad that can be serviced to 3.5 billion users across our family of ads. The user click there, then the user is directed to our rich AI-enabled conversations, which is the Meta Business Agent. Then the agent is providing different options for that customer in response, and then the agent is providing the option for that customer to confirm the options that they want and offering the option of actually booking that appointment, confirming that call, whatever that action is, you can actually drive that trigger. So this is basically what we're envisioning. If you move, I'll just take you through a few cases of what customers have been doing with the agent. So if you move to the next slide, please. So here in the case of Trendyol, which is one of the largest marketplaces in Turkey and expanding into MENA, they're doing an AI-enabled cross-sell at scale. So practically, they're testing to what extent the agent can recommend other things that the customer might purchase. So you go, you buy a t-shirt, and then we think that the cab will match that t-shirt. We can drive that experience over WhatsApp. They're already seeing amazing results, as you can see from the quote here. If you move to the next slide, please. This is a very well-known car rental booking called Movida in Brazil. They've literally configured like an end-to-end car rental booking, so they can send as much traffic as they want to WhatsApp, and you just can decide on the car that you want, place that booking, all using the Meta agent without leaving the channel on WhatsApp. That's Deliveroo as well. It's a conversational ordering from first click, so you can just figure out what is the order that you want over WhatsApp, place it, and you'll move on. I believe this is the last slide. Exactly. So if you move to the next slide, one call to action. This is super early stage, and we would love it for you to be as early stage with us as possible, because the ones that will start at the forefront are going to be the one that will win. Thank you so much, guys. With that, I will hand over to Pablo.
Hi, so I'm Pablo from Product. My turn. I will basically go through three things very fast. Who can access this, how you turn it on, and where the product stands today. So access is global. with restrictions on a handful of verticals like finance, government, health, alcohol, gambling, matrimony services, and some others. And outside those, you are eligible. You will also need business verification, and the account cannot be restricted or banned by WhatsApp. But turning it on is very simple. Client should go to the WhatsApp manager and accept the terms. Once first, enabling it on WhatsApp manager doesn't make it live. It won't answer any single customer until you have configured all the knowledge, skills, and so on. So the real question here comes is, how do you build that? So in 360Dialog, we are enabling two paths. If you want to enable full custom experience for your customers, you can build it yourself using your API. Our docs are already public. You can access them through the QR code. We will share also the link later. But if you want zero engineering time, you can use our MBA integrated onboarding, which is similar experience to the number integrated onboarding most of you are already using, but for the Meta Business Agent that will be available 1st of August. So that's access. Now let's talk about where this product actually is today. Okay, so basically it's really 3 stages. Onboarding, we have already covered how to onboard, configure, and then operate. Configure is where the real work happens, and it breaks down into 3 things. First, you give it something to know. Business info, FAQs are the core, but then you can add some websites to be core, some files to give more context to the agent. Then you shape how it behaves. That's skills, system instructions, but not only about tone or brand voice. You can use the skills to add more knowledge, to teach the agent how to do things, leveraging your already existing business processes and so on. And then you give it something to actually do, not just say. That's connectors. So you hook into your own APIs, so it can book an appointment, confirm a payment, take a real action instead of just answering, and so on. Then you operate it. You can allow list a small set of numbers first, test it, evaluate it, and then only when you are comfortable, let it loose. Where are the challenges? To be straightforward with you, this is, as Mohamed was saying, this is early days, and early means gaps still. After some testing, this was what we have observed. There are some behavioral inconsistencies. For example, like the agent doesn't always answer in user's language by default, but you can fix it with a skill. You can find a dedicated section for noun limitations in our documentation. Some other gaps, for example, conversation memory is still a real gap, specifically when you hand off to the agent. Agent picks up with no context of the conversation far, but again, you can solve it with the right connector. We are already working on it on the 360. There are no MCP support yet. It's already on Meta's roadmap, but not available yet. So every external connection has to be configured one by one. Please let us know which integrations you need. We can easily enable them for all your customers. And evaluation is still limited. Getting real visibility into costs, behavior, performance at scale. So here, selecting the right independent measurement tools will become key. And we are not waiting on this. We are working closely with Meta to close those gaps because we are really after making this as seamless as possible for the end customers, so you can onboard all your clients at scale without friction. So that's the state of play. Now let's see it in action. A second. Okay. Sorry. So yeah, this is the MBA integrated onboarding. Same experience as the number integrated onboarding. Most of you already are using, but for the Meta Business Agent. It's the easy path I mentioned, but you can embed it in your product, drop it in a pop-up, or just send the link to your customers. No development effort for you or your client to get an agent live. So open it. First step, you will see if you are eligible. And if so, you will need to accept meta terms. So this will redirect you into the WhatsApp Business Manager. You accept terms there, and then you come back. Now, how to configure the agent. This is all the knowledge and behavior in one flow. Everything we talked about a minute ago, you're setting it right here. No separated tools. So you can enter here, modify the business info, add any FAQs, add relevant websites you consider that you want the agent to crawl. You can add as any skills as you want, the connectors, other tools, how it will manage the handoff or follow-ups, and so on. Then click Next, continue to the test. So you are in the test mode. This test runs against a sandbox, so you don't need a real end user number yet. Send messages, see how it behaves, go back to modify, and keep iterating before anything is live. I can interact with my agent on a test mode. My bike. And then this will run against the agent, but on a sandbox mode. So yeah, as you can see, like I've written in English, I've seen that it's answering me in Portuguese because the agent is configured in Portuguese. So I can go back, go maybe to the skills and add a new skill to ensure like that we always answer in the right, in the user's language. So let me copy here. Let's see if it works. So we save the new skill, back, continue to test. I want, where is my bike now? Where is my bike? So hopefully the agent will answer me now in English. So you can see very easy, test, iterate, and so on. So once you have tested, you're okay, it's time to prepare your release. You get a summary of all the skills and knowledge you're fed plus the audience. Okay, at the moment, right now it's allow list only. This means you should add specific numbers you want for testing. So you add the numbers, you can go live. And then your agent will be live, but only conversations starting from those numbers will interact with the agent. The rest of conversations will still go through your normal API system. So now I can actually message from those listed numbers. And also we have here to simulate the business side. You can send messages directly as your system would, right from this UI. So you can see how hands off and thread controls play. So let me open WhatsApp. I hope you can see it well here. Okay, so I can say, hi, I want my bike. So you see agent is already answering. And then you can see that it answers already. And I want to say, I bought it 3 weeks ago. And it's cold. So we expect the agent to hand off to human, probably because he has no context about my bike. Thanks for reaching out. I will ask representative to respond. Okay, so you can see here there is a icon. So if I say something, hey, agent will not interact again because has hand off to human. We will have received a webhook. So I can now say, hi, I'm here. So this very easy allows me to test and ensure like the agent covers the minimums to go live. Then you click next, and then you can open it to everyone. Once you are happy, next screen, this screen lets you flip the audience from allowed list to everyone. So anyone messaging your business number now reaches the agent. You can just click everyone, and anyone reaching this number will interact with the agent. And this is the last screen. Is where you land every time after that, the permanent home for any number with an agent connected. Settings, skills, business info, internal testing, live mode for your agents, the ability to send messages via the API, handoff management, and so on. All in one place. This will become basically the command center for your agent, which is going to keep evolving for sure, more features, more capabilities over time. So your feedback here generally matters. That's what will shape what we will build next. And basically, that's the whole flow, start to finish, without writing any line of code. So, in a nutshell, your feedback, as mentioned, is generally key here. This is still shaping up. Yes, there are gaps. Memory, connectors, evals, behavior inconsistencies, we cover those. But there are ways to work around them through 360Dialog, and we are not leaving you alone with them. 2 ways to move today. Start integrating now with our API. API docs are already live. Or if you want zero effort path, you can use the MBA integrated onboarding that will be on GA August 1st. And last thing, if you want direct support building your use case, please scan this QR code and register. We'll be selecting some of the submitted projects to develop them as flagships together with our team. And everything else, the full detail on deploying agentic conversations for your customers and so on, is in our docs. You can access them via docs.360dialog.com/MBA. All the hints, all the behavior inconsistencies, everything is there. How to start, and yeah, that's it. So that's from the product side, what it does, how it works, where it's headed. And now, Gerrit, over to you for what does it mean commercially.
Thanks, Pablo. Yeah, very impressive to see how fast we've been able to ship API access. And as Pablo said, yeah, we are very much open to collaborate closely with you guys and then help you exploring the first agentic experiences. Actually, one highlight Pablo hasn't mentioned, and hopefully you use that as we're talking about cost in a second. So the MBA is free of charge until end of month. Yeah, so use it and test it, give feedback, and as the token-based pricing only kicks in from 1st of August, so you can actually test it for free until end of month. Yeah, I think a great opportunity to explore first opportunities around MBA. Can you click one step further, Pablo? Yeah, I mean, we've now actually approached the MBA and the narrative more from a meta perspective. So thanks to Muhannad sharing a little bit more on the meta side of things. Pablo was giving a first glance into the product and accessibility side of things. Before I'm handing over to Murillo, I just quickly want to share a couple of more thoughts because I was also reading all these questions coming in. Thanks so much for all the questions. So there are lots of questions around the pricing updates. And so there are obviously 2 major dates. So one is 1st of August. I just mentioned Meta will launch token-based pricing. What that means, Murillo will share in a second in detail. And 1st of October, Meta announced it will most likely charge for service messages. And that obviously is creating lots of noise in the ecosystem. Yeah, it's a huge change. And yeah, how this plays out, Murillo will also share more details. What I quickly want to highlight is that actually we're not just looking at a price change in the ecosystem. It's actually a fundamental strategy shift that Meta is pushing for. You can like it or not, yeah, but Meta is definitely going for this strategic shift, yeah, and so that will have for sure implications how clients and you vendors, yeah, also have to work on the WhatsApp business API. I was seeing lots of questions around flows, for instance. I really like this question, yeah, because flows is a great feature to have a strong UX on WhatsApp. And yes, it's also an alternative to have maybe a pure message-based experience on WhatsApp, which in the future means from 1st of October, yeah, will cost a lot of money potentially. Yeah. Plus, we also know that flows has, please keep that slide. Thank you. So we also know that flows shows very strong conversion rates. Yeah. So this is exactly what we're trying to seed. Yeah. And that we're actually moving away from a cost-centric approach on WhatsApp. Meta is really pushing for a value and outcome-based approach. Yeah. So what we anticipate, and in the end, Meta has to confirm that, but what we anticipate is also with MBA now being live, that we rather go into an era where clients will tell us what are they willing to spend for a closed service ticket, for a lead, for a purchase. And so the MBA is something very similar to how the ads manager or meta site is functioning, is something that is optimizing towards that. And so I'm a big fan of performance. I love it. Obviously, it will come with challenges. It will come with new requirements, but challenge accepted, at least from 360Dialog side. And I can just highly encourage you use the opportunity to look at the MBA side of things. Obviously, we are also here to help to make reviews on your existing paid messaging experiences. Maybe one fun fact, I was analyzing lots of messaging threads in the past couple of months. And so one, maybe I call it a flaw, yeah, on purely AI-based chatbots when it comes to the cost change from 1st of October. I have seen that agentic experiences at this point in time, when they are some sort of unmanaged, they tend to produce a large chunk of messages, which obviously will produce lots of costs, yeah, from 1st of October. But I truly believe if we all together accept the challenge, yeah, and really also start looking at WhatsApp designs more from an analytical perspective, yeah, and really challenge, does it need this 15, 20 messages, yeah, and steer our WhatsApp experience towards that, then we can really turn this into an opportunity. And what these changes, 1st of August, 1st of October, really mean, I'm handing over to Murillo.
Thank you, Garrett. So yeah, let's get directly to the finances. Like Garrett mentioned, there are two very important dates here to keep into consideration. The first one is on August 1st. Yeah, that's at the end of the month. This is when Meta will start charging for the Meta Business Agent, which means, yeah, for all of you that want to start trying out the Meta Business Agent, want to start testing it, we encourage you to start as soon as possible so that you don't incur these costs and you have some time to test some stuff out before Meta starts charging it. Secondly, very importantly, the rate is going to be a global rate. It's different from what we know from regular WhatsApp usage, where the end user, the location of the end user defines the price that you're going to be paying. Now Meta is coming out, at least for the moment, with one global rate of $2 per 1 million tokens. Yeah. So the price for Meta Business Agent is going to be token based. And according to Meta, one message typically consumes between 20 to 25,000 tokens, which translates to approximately 4 to 5 cents per message, depending on how difficult and how much processing the answer requires. So that's already starting August 1st. For the ones, that for some reason choose to wait, to use MBA, then concentrate on the second date, which is when Meta changes its current pricing as well by introducing the service message costs. Yeah. Basically, Meta will charge on a per a per message basis for all service messages at the same message rate as utility and authentication. And this is every time the company responds to a message within a 24-hour open window. And Meta will charge on a per message basis as well for utility messages sent and utility templates sent in response to users. But ultimately, what's important here to understand in a nutshell is that if you're within the service customer window, the 24-hour window, you will be paying a service message for every time you respond to that, unless you're using Meta Business Agent. If you're using Meta Business Agent, then you won't pay the service fee message. Pablo, next slide, please. Okay, so I've also collected a couple of key pricing mechanics as well that are staying. Yeah, so, and some important things to take into consideration. So the first thing is to think about, okay, how costs are now going to be determined, especially in the short term as you prepare this for your clients. So now the costs that are going to be generated by Meta is going to be determined by the category of the template message as usual, the country of the recipient as usual, and of course the specific message volume required for each interaction. So basically how long, right, your conversations with your clients are. On the other hand, coexistence continues to allow for free one-to-one chats using the WhatsApp Business app, right? As it was before. Messages also coming in from click to WhatsApp and these free entry points that open the 72-hour window continue free as well and don't charge the service messages fees inside. But of course, if you are using Meta Business Agent to respond to these clients inside the 72-hour free window, then you will also pay for the Meta Business Agent costs. Very importantly, differently from what we know at the moment, payment for the Meta Business platform will be done directly to Meta, while the other costs that we have today, they continue with 360Dialog. This means that clients need to insert their credit card directly in the Meta Business platform and pay directly to Meta through that. And just to make it 100% clear here, for messages inside the customer window that are using MBA, the service message fee will not be charged. But if you're using a third-party AI or a bot or a human agent to respond, then that's when you're going to have the service message fee. Pablo. So here, I wanted to take the time to just go through an example of a message, a conversation that a business can have with the user and go through step by step what are the costs that are coming in starting October 1st. So let's say that the first message sent by the business is a marketing template that continues being having a marketing template charge. This does not open a 24-hour customer service windows. And the template structure is still needed. So these are still pre-approved messages that have to go through Meta for you to be able to start a conversation with Meta. Continue. Now the user responds. What happens? actually nothing, there is no cost. Yeah. But this opens the 24-hour conversation window, and businesses are allowed to respond now with MBA or human reps or third-party bots or third-party AIs. Now, in this particular case, we're saying that MBA actually sent the response. So that would incur a one Meta Business Agent charge. Yeah, and that's again variable depending on the complexity of the answer, and this is going to vary between 4 to 5 dollar cents for the answer. Yeah. Then the user responds again, is the same thing, no cost. And then the user asks, for example, to speak to a human now. And then when a human responds, then there is the cost of one service message. And of course, yeah, again, right, if you're using, for example, a third-party AI tool for that response or a bot or anything, you have to take into consideration that the cost is going to be one service message plus whatever you already pay to your own provider. And then if after, in this case here, the good is sold, right? And you want to send a utility template, even if it's still within the 24-hour conversation window, you're going to have a utility template charge. Reminding that all of the messages happening inside a 24-hour window, they are going to come at the same cost as a utility. Them being like a marketing content, a service message, or a utility categorized, let's say, open message. All right, so we've reached almost the end of our webinar. At the beginning, we have collected several questions from the registrants, and so we've already prepared a couple of answers for them. And then after this, we will open up for questions, for live questions here, and for questions that have been shared within our Q&A, which are a lot. I must say this is a record-breaking number of questions that we have received. So we'll try to get to them as much as we can. And yes, so please stay tuned. So Paulo, please. All right, so first question that we've gotten. So how will 360Dialog track and bill client message charges after October 1st? So like I've already mentioned, just to reiterate, client pays directly to Meta in the Meta Business Manager through credit card. Service messages will continue to be billed through 360Dialog under the current setup. Yeah, so everything that is service message stays with 360, will be billed accordingly through 360Dialog as you do already for template messages, marketing and utility and authentication. But specifically, MBA has to be client paid with directly to the Meta Business Manager. Can we use custom MCP servers? Will 360Dialog provide one? MCP is not natively supported at the moment by by Meta actually and by MBA, but Meta has confirmed that it is in the roadmap. Maybe Pablo, you have anything to mention here on that?
No, MCP is on the roadmap, not ADA yet.
Okay.
So yeah, at the moment you need to configure on API-based connectors.
Okay.
There are some workarounds you can have, but yeah, no ATA.
Right. How can we test Meta's business agent platform? I think we've gone through this. Access is already available through 360Dialog documentation, which is posted in one of the answers here already in the webinar. If not, just I'll drop it also again, but you can also just Google 360Dialog documentation, Meta Business Agent. You'll find it there. And also just please feel free to come in contact directly with us by scanning the QR code that we will be presenting, and we'll get there in direct contact with you to help you out. And does the 72-hour click to WhatsApp ads window continue to keep us service replies free after October 2026? Very simple, yes. As long as you're not using, obviously, MBA, right? In that case, there is the MBA charge on top. All right. So now we can move forward to some pre-webinar questions that we've already gotten that is directly addressed to Meta. And for this, We have no better person to do this than Meta itself. So Muhannad, thank you very much, and please take the stage.
Thanks, Rilo. Let me take a stab at the first question. How can tech companies build transactional use cases on top of WhatsApp and Messenger AI agents? I believe we did cover this. So practically, you can build a deeper integrations between your systems and MBA. So you can drive a transactional use case using MBA. Connection is available. How can tech providers maintain business model stability for clients in constant Meta API and pricing changes? So this is definitely like the the challenging part of being partner with a tech company in general, that we continue pivoting, we continue shifting towards where we see the opportunity is and where we see the value for on our platforms and for our end customers. I'm working at a tech company, and I can tell you that every 6 months we do pivot, we do shift, and it is a heavy lifting for all of us to figure out how to maneuver within that space. But I think like the biggest advice that I would give is, given the context of the session, is working with a partner that is very close to our leadership, to our strategy, and have built that momentum and understanding how to navigate the meta partnership space is highly recommended, because you're going to be able to get the best advice out there and understand where are the big opportunities in this partnership that you can pivot on. What is Meta's rationale for charging for free forms replies inside 24-hour customer service window? Overall, we believe that the 24-hour customer service window belongs in a conversational pricing strategy, while price per response is closer to how the agentic ecosystem is being priced, right? So when we put service messaging on board, given that majority of service messages are being handled by agents today or in the coming future, this is how we can make it an easier comparison for how a token is being consumed and how a service message as a response is being delivered as well. I guess that was my take on these three questions. I hope that helped you navigate them. I'll hand over to you, Murilo.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, actually, so we are not at the end of the webinar yet. We'll take a couple of the open messages that have, or the live messages that are here in the Zoom webinar. To be honest, there are way too many. Yeah, so definitely we're not going to be able to get to nearly, like half of them. But we'll try to follow up with an answer to all of the questions after the webinar through email. So Muhannad, Garrett, Pablo, feel free. Feel free to pick out a couple selected questions that you have looked at and discuss them here openly as well, please. Also, sorry, before we start, if you want to get in touch with us, if you want to start implementing MBA, or if you have other issues with your implementation and need support from us, please scan the QR code and let us know, and we'll be in touch with you within the next days as well. Thanks.
Cool. Thanks, Murillo. Muhammad, this one is for you. I mean, we consciously decided to make it an open webinar. So we also have other BSPs and tech providers, tech partners with us. And there is one question whether MBA is also available for tech providers and tech partners. So who are actually partnering directly with Meta.
It's the API is pretty much available. It's out there. We started launching it through BSPs. I'm not aware if there is any limitations for tech providers, but if you guys, right now I'm aware that it's available through BSPs. But yeah, like more than happy to get any feedback if it's not working for a tech provider.
Thank you. Pablo, maybe one for you, because I saw so many questions around flows. Can flows still be used? So the question is, and we still use AI agent with WhatsApp flows. So maybe we can address it from both angles. So flows as a feature, a messaging feature stays obviously. And I quickly highlighted that this could be a good choice, yeah, to have better UX, stronger conversion rates. Do we know anything around, is this also part of MBA?
Yeah, at the moment, MBA, the Meta Business Agent, does not send flows, so cannot start a flow conversation or a flow, journey, let's say. But yeah, we really encourage you to use flows, also because you will use one message and then you can enter the user into a full journey. So we highly recommend you to use. But short answer, no, MBA does not use flows yet.
Good. Then maybe another one. I see that several times again, Pablo, for you. So, I mean, we also experienced some restrictions, geo restrictions, specifically for EU. Are they still available, or is it globally available now? And we just have some restrictions on certain business categories.
Yeah, we have seen geographical restrictions until last week, but from today, we have not seen any more restrictions. So through 360 Dialog API, you can access your agent if you are under the eligible criteria, which only excludes some verticals I already mentioned. You can see them again in the documentation if you need, but no geographical restrictions that we know. But anything, please let us know.
Yeah, as you're in the flow, I have another one for you.
Cool.
So Meta Business Agent will be created on Meta Business Suite, or as a platform provider, we need to build the agent using APIs.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so MBA needs to be created through the business manager or can be created through APIs. You mentioned it, but maybe you
Yeah.
can quickly just highlight again the two ways of accessing it.
So today there is no UI on the Meta side, just through WhatsApp Business Manager. You go through to accept the terms, and you can click to onboard, but nothing else. You cannot configure it there. So to configure your agent, you have two ways today. Through API, so you have all our documentation with all the API endpoints, guided through step by step how to configure it, make it live, test it, iterate, and so on. And there is the second option, which is zero development effort, which is our MBA integrated onboarding launching 1st of August, which is what I have shown you through the demo, where your users can easily go, click, and configure the agent, make it live. So
Thank you.
I've seen a couple of questions regarding some limitations on, so for example, someone trying to go to not seeing the tab where you can accept the meta terms. There are some small bugs like this already reported to Meta. Meta is working on them. You can find most of them in our documentation. For example, this specific case, I saw a couple of questions. You can use directly the link we have provided in our docs to access that tab, even if it's not visible on your WhatsApp Business Manager. Technical question regarding historically 360 Dialog APIs have been in almost one-to-one drop in replacement for Meta WhatsApp Business Messaging APIs, closely matching Meta specs and implementation. Will 360 Dialog continue this approach going forward with the MBA API as well? Yes, we continue with this approach. Plus, you can expect from us some improvements, as for example, you have seen on the Lite future, we help you do the fallback to make it easier. So we will keep working on improving, but on a base, we will see a one-to-one approach.
Here's also one very good one. I mean, obviously, 360 Dialog is partner first, and one of our partners is asking, so what's the experience for the client when onboarding MBA? Is it just like embedded sign up, or is the heavy lifting of UX to be done then by the partner of 360 Dialog?
Yeah, I mean, you can again go through integrate it and create a full custom experience using our APIs, embed it, I mean, and customize in your own platform, or you can just embed or drop a pop-up with our integrated onboarding, similar experience as the one most of you are already using for onboarding numbers, but that's this once you have a number to activate, configure, and test your agent. So very simple for clients, very simple to start with your agent. And as mentioned before, we will keep iterating it to add more capabilities, better monitoring, more evaluations, streamline connectors, and so on.
I have one here for you, Pablo. So how do we understand token usage costs during sandbox testing? Do we have a visibility on this?
Okay, today there is no way to understand token cost per message. Meta is finalizing the APIs and webhooks. So today there is no visibility at all, but we expect for 1st of August to have the entire transparency and visibility on the cost per message, tokens consumed, and so on, so that you can easily compare, improve, and understand the performance and ROI, etc.
Can MBA support multiple agents on the same number?
No, there is only one agent per number and one number per agent, so one to one. How do we get started and when? I saw a couple of questions. We have answered them a couple of times already, but you can start now, today through our APIs, 1st of August through our through our integrated onboarding.
Is there anything else that we would like to touch? Again, guys, all the questions will be answered in a follow-up email. Yeah. We are already 2 minutes above the limit time. So, guys, is there any last question that we'll take? Otherwise, I think we can close the webinar for now. Okay. So if there's nothing, thank you, Muhannad. Thank you, Pablo and Garrett. Thank you, everyone who has participated into the webinar. Let's keep in touch. These are very important changes that are happening, but as usual, 360 Dialogue will be helping all our partner base through them. Don't forget to scan the QR code to get in touch with us. And within the next days, we will also be sending a recording of this webinar, answers to all of the questions, and we'll be getting in touch with partners to together develop solutions to these new changes. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of the day. Bye bye.
Thank you.